Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to
Why are you just looking at me, dude?
Beyond the Summit presentation of the Ti6 Regional Qualifier. We are in China still. We're not technically in China, but we're doing the Chinese qualifiers. And this is the upper bracket of the two best of three that we just watched between VG Reborn versus EHOME. Winner of this best of three goes to Seattle, one way or another.
Yes.
So it's actually pretty important.
Why'd they give us important games?
I don't know.
I feel like that was an oversight by whoever was deciding who got what game.
Just to preface this, has no bearing of this game whatsoever. We did have some intimate questions about us earlier.
Did we?
One of the question was, who do you hate casting with the most?
Clearly it's you.
And we're now casting together.
Yep.
All right, it's going to be VG Gaming playing on the dire side, EHOME on the Radiant. You have clearly not watched any games leading up to this. So let me tell you, these two teams are quite good.
Are they?
Yes.
Is that why they're in the upper bracket and one game away from just being in TI no matter what?
That's correct.
Thank you for explaining that.
And Lanham is very good on Kunga. So we see a first phase Kunga band.
Yeah.
What are we in, like 2006? Dota 1?
Believe it or not, I've actually seen EHOME's games.
Oh, okay. All right.
And apparently he doesn't even like skilling X in some of his matches. He just goes like full Torrent Tidebringer.
What a hipster.
Well, I mean, it works. He
Yeah.
hits like 80% of his torrents anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think of the TB opening into Elder Titan? Is this just Dazzle second pick right now? Just easy peasy?
Oh, can you explain the Dazzle and how, like, why do you think that's actually a good pairing with the Terrorblade versus Elder Titan?
you have weave,
Just a weave
against Elder Titan. That's
Okay.
pretty much the whole premise of it.
A lot of teams actually like have been picking Elder Titan to counter Terrorblade, but it hasn't been working. Like Terrorblade is still good, still wins games.
I think
So-
it's one of those heroes that on paper is really good against Terrorblade, but if you get like the right combination of items, like you get your Vlads, your AC, or whatever, and Greaves, then you're still getting a pretty decent chunk of armor from the support items in the team, and it might not work out because Elder Titan's timing is, I wouldn't say as a support hero, he's pretty good in the laning phase, but you kind of want something else to pair with it, and normally you see like the ET Void combination a lot of Chinese teams have been running, but they're not going to get it this game because Void is pretty much just second ban. But I will say that Elder Titan Tinker is a pretty disgusting combination, and Ether Lens plus Ags Tinker with Elder Titan against TB is a pretty decent amount of deep push. You can just laser everything, and then TB just stands there and types question marks in all chat. It's pretty much
All
how it
right.
works.
I know you
What
guys
are you doing right now?
I have, for whatever reason, I have the Crystal Maiden announcer pack equipped, and I'm pretty sure chat is a trigger by now. So I'm trying to turn it back to the regular one. Hopefully you have done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they told us that we shouldn't use the map or anything.
Yeah,
like 10 times.
Look,
All right, so I'll catch everybody up who's actually interested in the game, because Lumi's...
I'm clearly very interested and invested. Why are you laughing?
Because I know you're actually being serious.
I am being serious.
I know, but your response was so deadpan that like most people watching probably just wouldn't get that. But
Yeah.
since I know you, I will tell everyone right now that he is actually being serious.
I am being serious. All right, tell me. Catch me back up. God,
Alright,
why
so-
see I'm still talking? Shut the hell.
So it's like a Nyx second phase ban, and then Doom to follow it up. Obviously, Nyx is incredibly good against both Elder Titan and Tinker, so you don't really want to have to deal with that as a Tinker player. It's not like EHOME has a tremendous amount of catch right now, but they are going to be taking out the Slark and the Riki. I don't know about the Riki ban per se. I feel like the hero is actually a little bit overrated. I think that a lot of the times, if he doesn't have a good like first 10 minutes, he just does nothing like the entire game. Whereas if you just pick a hero like Bounty, even if you don't have a good laning phase, you could still potentially, make some kind of comeback on the basis of having track gold. Whereas you already have Tinker and Elder Titan who have pretty good synergy together. Bounty Hunter just adds to that. You get track, plus the Rockets obviously being a pretty decent combo in its own right. But EHOME going back for the DS. Still haven't seen Earth Spirit in this draft. Pretty much every region prioritizes that hero in the first or second pick phase. But yeah, I'm kind of curious because the hero Darkseer and Terrorblade both take up a pretty good amount of space.
Okay.
So I'm kind of looking at EHOME's lineup right now, and I'm thinking for like Old Chicken, he's going to need something that's relatively active, right? Like you can't just pick Darkseer or Terrorblade with two really farm-heavy cores and then pick something else that needs farm, right?
I've seen Vici, who just lost the last best of three, did just that. They picked Terrorblade plus Storm,
Yeah.
and then pick another kind of farming core.
Super greedy.
Yeah, it's super greedy, but actually it works out well because one thing that Terrorblade is actually very good at is getting money in the mid game. Because basically every time he has Metamorphosis, he just says, "All right, team, let's group up and push." And it's very hard for the other team to actually repel the push. So it ends up that all the cores, or everybody on the side of the Terrorblade, just gets free towers throughout the mid game.
Yep.
So that kind of supplement and maybe it's still very greedy. So you have 3 cores that eat up a lot of farm, but because of the tower go, they come out fine. So maybe that's kind of the idea behind Terror Blade plus Dark Seer and perhaps plus another greedy core.
I would just prefer to see something like a DK mid. Like, he takes a decent amount of farm, but he's not the kind of hero who's just a farm vacuum, like a Terrorblade who just soaks up, half the map or whatever. Because then at least you're getting more push potential. On top of the Terrorblade, you have the potential for going like early high ground. You can buy hard, BKB. Sometimes I see Armlet. I even like Pipe on DK if you want to try to just, hit that like 15 to 20 minute timing where you're just sieging tier 3s at that point in the game. But it seems like, at least in the Chinese region, a lot of people are not really going for the high ground that early. They like to wait it out, get a couple of Roshans, and in the last series I watched, I think it was a VG Gaming Reborn, took it to like 2 60-minute games.
Yeah.
They 2-0'd, but it was still a very long series regardless.
And I think, I'm not sure whether you're of the opinion where they perhaps wait a little bit too long.
I think they did in one of their games. But
Okay.
they still did end up winning both matches regardless. They had the first game where they picked Brood, and they just completely demolished the laning phase. Like, it was insane how far ahead they were. And then they waited about 10 to 15 minutes. They got like 1 Roshan, didn't push, and then they had one fight where they overextended a bit and delayed the game by like 30 more minutes.
Yep.
So it was a little bit questionable, but EHOME going for that combination you were talking about earlier, they're just going to get the Storm and the TB. But I kind of understand the Storm pick here because it's just such a natural counter to Tinker, and they don't really have any other heroes that they can pick that's going to be able to spot him out as easily as a Storm, because clearly they have their safe lane heroes, so you can't pick Spectre.
May I suggest someone else? What about something like a Nyx Assassin mid? Something that
Nyx is banned.
Well, that's why you're the analyst here.
I mean, I literally said that Nyx was banned.
Sorry,
when you
I
were
was
saying
I was
catch me up,
fixing
and you were talking about Crystal Maiden voice pack. But you know what?
She's still speaking her gentle voice to me. Hopefully, I could disable it once I'm in game. But yeah,
I think you might have to restart the game, honestly.
I literally restarted the game earlier, so maybe I'll do it in a pause.
Yeah, but I do feel as though the Storm is warranted, even though I think the hero might take a little bit too much farm.
Mm-hmm.
It does give the EHOME the capability of jumping in really early, though, because the Darkseer, Ion Shell plus Storm is very powerful during the mid-game. You deal so much extra damage during the Vortex, and obviously Storm is pretty much only magical damage, which means even a Sven pick and having the bonus armor from the Warcry is not going to be tremendously helpful if you're getting jumped by like an Orchid Bloodstone Storm. So I kind of like it. There's not really much control for him either when he has BKB. I mean, sure, the Lion Blink is always going to be a little bit of a worry, but during the early stages of the game, I think that VG Gaming Reborn are going to have to kind of pressure the Storm a bit. You can't let Old Chicken get ahead on that hero or it's going to become like a nightmare playing into it.
Yeah, we actually saw EHOME doing a very good job pressuring CTY Storm. CTY actually like went 0 and 3 in the laning stage.
Yep.
So they will know the importance of having a well-farmed Storm, at least from the laning stage. So once the Terrorblade gets to pushing, the Storm could catch back up. Are you afraid at all for VG Gaming? Like, do you think they could get kited in the mid-game? Once Sven gets his blink off and gets off his initial barrage, you just surge away, Storm zips away, Terrorblade literally just pops reflection and walks away?
There's no hard save, though. There's no hard save. There's not like a Venge swap. I wouldn't even be surprised to see EHOME go for that last. Like some hero, like Oracle or Venge, just to be able to have a panic button where you can stop somebody from just getting trained. Because if you think about it, a Lion Initiation plus a Sven with Elder Titan and Tinker Burst, that hero just dies. There's absolutely no way you can save them unless you have a swap or you have an Oracle Ultimate to kind of give you a second life, if you want to call it that, or at least some way to counter-initiate. So I would like to see something like that from EHOME, but it also depends on what kind of strategy they're running here, because we have been seeing a lot of Oracle out of the Chinese teams. It has been pretty much ignored throughout this draft, but we are going to see a Phoenix. Obviously can't be countered by the Nyx that was banned earlier on. There's no Doom. It's another hero that you really want to try to jump on, and that's kind of a good thing, because if you have a Phoenix and a Tinker, it's not just like Old Chicken's going to be able to make the distinction of, all right, I need to go all in on this hero. Now you have to think about both. Okay, that's the dream pick, actually. That is such the dream pick.
It's a save that you're looking for.
Yeah.
We did see Vici regular brought it out early as an off-lane Omni-Knight, and it looked really bad in that game.
But Storm Omni-Knight is like an amazing combo. If the Storm gets ahead and you have Repel and Ion Shell, you just kill anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. Every single hero on the side of VG Gaming Reborn, even the Sven, can die to that if End isn't like really far ahead in terms of item progression. So I'm really liking the Omni-Knight last pick. Normally I would say it makes your lanes a little bit weak, but I wouldn't say that, VG Gaming Reborn, they're running a offlane ET. So it's not even as if he's going to be roaming around during the early game. It's going to be all up to DDC to make the rotations because Phoenix really wants to play greedy. You know, you want levels. So I'm thinking that the Omni Knight's not really going to get punished that much, and that if EHOME get a good laning phase, it's going to be super hard for VG Gaming.
The Guardian Angel is really good here too versus the Sven. So
and no one wants to buy Diffusal on this team. Like, what hero naturally buys Diffusal Blade? I mean, I guess you could if you're like incredibly far ahead on Sven, but even still, I think you just want to go for the normal build. Like, I think we saw End in the last series when he played Sven. He opted for the S and Y over the Echo Saber after getting Helm of the Dominator just straight into Blink BKB. But we'll have to find out. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad to see a little bit of differentiation in hero picks.
Do you care about doing any of these predictions?
No, let's read them actually. Will there be a courier snipe?
No.
No. Team with the most Roshan kills, I'm going to say VG.
Yep.
Team, or player with the highest net worth by 10 minutes, Sven. Team with the first barracks kill.
Hold on, is it that fast and easy? I feel like Darkseer might
be
pressure
It could be Ice.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ice. I think Darkseer could pressure the Sven a little bit harder. Team with the first barracks kill? Well, who's going to win the game, you think? That's probably...
I think EHOME are going to win.
Okay, yeah, I like that too. All right, easy 4-0 prediction.
I'm at like 50%, so it's not like a... I mean, not 50% as if EHOME are going to win, but my predictions are like 50%.
This
which ain't bad.
The XSplit a little bit late over, but we didn't miss anything too important, so hopefully you guys don't mind at home. Of course, I'm Luminous. I'm joined by Drasco as we are bringing you guys the commentary for the BL3. I hope you guys do enjoy it. Nice snipe here, or at least snipe attempt by the Phoenix, but Old Chicken will pick it up. Now, you do like the EHOME draft better, but let's talk about the basics here. In the laning stage, do you feel like maybe VG.R has the advantage here, or is still EHOME favored?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I think that VG.R should be able to zone the Darkseer, but then again, Old 11, he actually went to lane without the Iron Talon start, so he's feeling like he can get something out of this lane. If he does well, I would say that EHOME's laning phase just straight up does okay. Old Chicken is the only one I'm looking to right now and thinking he may suffer, because Tinker versus Storm is not really a Storm favorite matchup at all.
Old 11's going to try to juke around the trees here. He's going to get somewhat trapped. The Blind Shout is pushing the lane, so he will have the creep help. The Stormhammer's going to come out. Impale's going to be there as well. Dive is available, but you can see that big creep wave just gaining. Yeah, he'll just TP out. If the lag does persist, I will reconnect. And we'll hang out here for 30 more seconds. But
yeah, I'm feeling like if the Darkseer can't really get anything out of his lane, Old 11 starting with the Soul Ring Rush build, it's going to be a bit rough for him. But at the same time, they don't really need to do extremely well in their lanes, if you know what I mean. Like, Ice, he's going to be fine. He's got a support Disruptor in the bottom lane. Not really too worried about him. Middle lane might be slightly Mikasa favored, but Mikasa's also a sub. So I think Old Chicken mechanically is probably a little bit better than him. I guess we'll have to see how that lane plays out in general.
I've definitely seen Mikasa really take teams to the town, at least in the regional qualifiers. He has been kind of on fire, so even though he's a sub, he's been playing like he's a...
No, I saw him at Star Ladder. Like, I know the guy's got a bit, like, talent, but Old Chicken to me is, like, mechanically just better.
Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, the mid lane is actually going to be a pretty mechanical base lane here, right?
Oh, first bullet. Looks like they're going to manage to snipe Yang in the bottom lane. That reflection plus Metamorphosis early on.
Yep. Big damage. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to reconnect because we are...
lagging really badly.
Yeah. Welcome to Perfect World.
Yeah. Perfect slideshow. The dream.
So if you could give us the radio coverage.
I mean, there's not really much happening. It's just everyone's farming the lanes right now. So, you know, Ice is hitting creeps, and then Old Chicken is hitting creeps. The Tinker was actually sent back to base. So Mikasa took a really bad trade, ended up with no regen left outside of a Fairy Fire. Now he's been sent back to base, which is really bad. I mean, the Tinker is supposed to be winning this lane on paper, but as I mentioned earlier, Old Chicken just outplaying him a little bit. I think one of the supports actually ferried him a salve, and this entire time, Lanham has just been Iron Talon jungling, so he's level 3 on Omni Knight at 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Like, taking a traditionally a very weak laner and just kind of say, you know what?
Because
forget about supporting, just go jungle.
VG.R can't punish it. They don't have the heroes to punish it. Because of the fact that instead of a support ET, it's offlane, they don't have another hero besides DDC who can really move around the map. Like, sometimes we see an early Sunray that can maybe get a counter kill, but usually that's predicated on having disables in your mid lane. Well, you have a Tinker. So your Tinker's not providing any disables or any sort of crowd control whatsoever, and that means that Lanham is going to be able to do his jungle unobstructed, and no lane is really suffering for it. Worst case scenario, he has to go mid, repel Old Chicken, or cast a heal on him, and then he's fine. Yep. So I'm really feeling like EHOME just are getting more out of the laning phase, and because of that, and due to the nature of their lineup, they play very well from ahead. Like a repelled Storm is possibly one of the scariest things to deal with.
I think we're going to be looking at more repel Terrorblade in the mid game at the very least too.
That as well.
Yeah, he's going to be just punching towers, and honestly, there's not much that VG.R could do about it. Yang's going to have to be on point with his ultimate as well as the Echo Stomps. But for now, we are pretty much in a farm fest. I do believe, taking a quick peek over, that Sven is slightly leading, but not by much.
Well, the Sven's going to have to do some heavy lifting this game. Last time I saw Sven, I was not disappointed, so if he performs at the same level, I feel like, VG.R, they're still going to have a decent shot in this game. I'm just like really overly concerned that EHOME is getting a lot out of their Omni Knight. He's going to see a Lanham to suicide to Roche here to get back to base a little bit faster. But I mean, he's level 4 already. I mean, you compare that to the Phoenix, just at level 3. Lion's level 2. Like, not into level 2, like, just level 2. And Omni Knight is typically seen as that hero who is a burden in the laning phase. You know, he doesn't really give you anything in terms of aggressive potential unless you're playing like PA or some other hero with a gap closing capability, which they won't have until later.
I mean, he is gonna swing around here on the mid lane.
He's just filling the bottle.
Oh, he's gonna spot out again coming his way, so FY wasting a bit of his time, and so is DDC. They even popped a smoke for this rotation, and they won't find anything out of it. So you like the EHOME draft better. The EHOME lanes are coming along a little bit better, and in fact, Lanham is just gonna beat FY all the way back to base. It feels like, and it's gonna actually find one stack in doing so.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, like, VG.R's overall game plan is they are going to be able to snipe Old 11 here on the top lane. Got a little bit too far forward. Multiple disables with a Sven hitting level 6 and getting God Strength, so that's more than enough to secure that kill, but it's a necessary kill for VG.R. They really need the Sven to be very, very far ahead. Because even in games where, say, EHOME have like 3 heroes in the top 4 of highest net worth, just having the Sven be up there is good enough, because you can rely on a couple of good auto attacks to be able to carry a fight.
I think I'm going to try to reconnect again, because these lags are...
It's pretty bad right now.
Yeah, making it difficult. Are you getting it too, or is it
Yes,
just
I am definitely getting it too.
Okay.
I'm just casting, with 1 FPS. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
it's just what we do,
I mean, for a caster of your caliber, you get away with that, but...
Yeah. I mean, some people aren't quite on my level, so, if you have to reconnect, that's fine.
Yeah, I get it.
I want you to be comfortable. Now, they're going to be stealing the stack, by the way. That large stack inside of the woods that was scouted earlier by Lanham.
So it was a Storm with Iron Shell plus Purification.
And he has a regen rune, so he's pretty much getting nothing for this. There's actually going to be an engagement. It looks like we are back inside of the game right now as FY throwing out the laser here. Going to see a stun onto Old Chicken. Could potentially pay with his life here. Zips away. About 10% health. FY going in with a dive, but unfortunately the Sunray is still on cooldown.
Well, that regen rune definitely helped out because he needed every bit of that mana to make it out alive. So, well, EHOME, again, winning essentially on every single metric. The only thing that's carried on in the game is End's farm on the Sven. I honestly don't know if it's going to be enough. He is going to be going... Well, actually, is it going to be Armlet or Helm of the Dominator, you think?
I think it was probably just Dom. I think Armlet is more... I want to try to fight early, and to be honest, I think fighting early into EHOME's lineup is really hard. Like Ion Shell, Purification, and a Repel, what does a Sven really do against that? And that's also assuming, Lanham, it's 7 minutes in, he's level 5. Like, that sounds not so great, but honestly, being level 5 right now on an Omni Knight and just having the ability of getting Guardian Angel in the next couple of minutes, that's insane. Like, Sven does nothing into GA, and they have no Dispel.
I would say a support at level 5 this stage of the game is not too bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just overall really, really strong timing for the Omni Knight, and I just hope that VG.R have some kind of good rotation or can manage to get themselves farther ahead in the farm front to make sure that, End can actually do something here.
Now, I think something that's becoming more and more of a norm is the Terrorblade rotation. Much of like a Gyrocopter, for example, once he gets level 6, level 7, he kind of smokes up with the support and looks for a gank.
DDC?
Oh, hold that thought. No Terrorblade here, but they will be able to get this kill. He is blinded right now, but Ochikin walking forward, getting the right click in against DDC. Gonna get an easy pick off. You said that Storm needed to have a good laning stage. Is this a 10 out of 10? Might not be, but pretty close.
It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's good.
Right, he won the lane against Tinker. He stole a stack, and he's getting kills.
It's really good. I mean, there are more stacks inside of VG.R's jungle right now, but I wouldn't even be surprised to see Old Chicken and Lanham make it, you know, a trip over there. Lanham even has his arcanes, and he's going to be hitting level 6 in the next, like, 30 seconds as soon as he gets back to lane. So I'm thinking, like, EHOME are getting everything they want out of this laning phase. Even if the Storm doesn't have an amazing amount of CS, he's in a mismatch. And Mikasa's behind him, and is, like, 500 gold to his name, so he's still very far away from Boots of Travel. Normally, at, like, 9-10 minutes, you want bots, like, done, pretty much. And Tinker is that hero who usually dominates his lane.
Now, how important is that delay bot for his mid-game job, right?
Oh, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. Because here's the thing, right? The Storm's going to start to be able to fight very early because of Repel and how much enabling Lanham is going to give him inside of these teamfights. So instead of it being very dependent on getting like your Orca timing or a Bloodstone, Old Chicken's going to be allowed to go into these situations where normally a Storm would not be able to survive, and he's going to get kills and still live. Like, it's just such an enabling hero to have Omni Knight on your team against these lineups that are super dependent on early game disables.
Oh, Ice is going to swing around here. Something that we see very common is the early game Terror Blade push. You don't really need any item. All you do is morph and just hit. Tinker is going to try his best to be annoying. Obviously, as we talked about during the drafting stage, they did pick Tinker, you know, predominantly for this role to slow down the push, deal with Ice during the mid game. But like you said, man, this is really delaying his farm and not even halfway to that BOTs.
Yeah, it's a little bit troubling right now. Gonna see a bit of a rotation here from Old Chicken and Lana making their way towards the top lane. Looks like it's just gonna be for the Rune for now. But I suppose with the Darkseer pushing the lane, they have a good chance of being able to go into this tier 1. Maybe actually get the kill on it, but right now they're searching out the jungle again. They're gonna spot the stacks. And I think that VG.R don't really have a way of contesting this, so they're gonna go on bottom.
Yep. They are going to look for the kill here on Ice, but it looks like he's going to be able to run out. But they will find here the Disruptor on the way out. Meanwhile, on the right side here, Yang going to have to forfeit that stack. And it's going to go here to Old Chicken. Good pickoff here from the Radiant side. EHOME pretty much winning on essentially all metrics here.
Yeah, they're just shutting down Mikasa so hard. Like, he needs stacks in order to make his way back into the game. I mean, I suppose you could argue that not having any deaths and, you know, still having 43 CS at 10 minutes isn't so bad, but it's more the fact that EHOME are playing very proactive about ensuring, okay, they're actually taking, they're stealing EHOME stacks as well, so I guess at the end of the day, I mean, Mikasa's not getting all of them, but he's getting a fair amount. I think they understand the importance of him getting his Boots of Travel. This is going to help a ton, like just finding that one large camp. Looks like EHOME wasn't prepared to TP back in.
Well, they are going to glimpse Mikasa back here. Not sure if they're going to get the kill, because here comes End. The Stormhammer's going to fly off. Fenrir's going to drop a ton of HP here. Don't think he'll die, and I can barely see what's happening, but it will be okay. You did say that, you know, Sven is actually not dying. He's getting a ton of last hits, but I feel like when Sven is at their peak, he's farming an ancient stack. He's stealing ancient stacks, perhaps even from the enemy side. He's not doing that here. I don't feel like he's ramping up fast enough to deal with his entire team really falling behind.
I don't know about that. I don't think he needs to necessarily steal any stacks, but the other thing is, who on EHOME even kills ancient stacks? Like, maybe the Terror Blade.
Well, just stealing stacks in general. Forget about ancient stacks, right? I'm saying that he needs to be not only doing well, he needs to be farming insane to have a chance in this game. Is that assessment true or false?
I think it's true, but that's Sven every game. Alright, Old 11 is a goner, I think.
Yeah.
But we won't be able to tell exactly right away because, you know, it's a little bit laggy.
Well, he's surging back out, so
right.
he's
I'm just going to go ahead and say that Infused Raindrops are definitely OP.
It is quite good.
They get the tower deny as well, so nice to play there from Yang. Yeah. But, no, I think that Sven is a hero who functions very similar to Alk or AM, and that the cleave that they get on the Sven, or, you know, the Goblin's Greed, Grievel's Greed? Yeah, it's Grievel's Greed. And then just the ability of blinking around the map and flash farming is what enables Sven.
Oh, so Chicken is then going to get smoke broken. He's going to go focus on Yang. Storm on point here against Yang, and that will cancel his clap. Easy kill here. And Old Chicken will be done. Now, something you pointed out is that the Repel will enable Old Chicken to actually fight, because normally we see Storm at this stage of the game just farming for the Bloodstone, right? But yeah, he's definitely being active, even without the Repel in that engagement. And they're looking for more. They're definitely really taking control of the map.
well, they don't really have any fear. Like, Lanham's level 8. I mean, he's incredibly over-leveled as a support, and he's playing it very greedy. And we mentioned the idea that VG.R can't really punish because their Phoenix needs level 6. What the heck is Phoenix going to do to a repelled Storm? Like, you have absolutely no way of dealing with this until you get... Okay, they're actually just going to go on FY here. He's going to go for the swoop away. Does he actually live?
No, he got the TP out. No, glimpse. And they should get him. No, he's going to run away. Ooh, the finger was so close here. FY's dropping low, no level 6 in sight, so he's going to be pretty much dead. Meanwhile, we'll have to surge out from 011. Finra's going to get right-click down, so 1 kill going the way. In fact, they're going to burn down Old Chicken. He TP's home, and that will be the end of that.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a mistake to be having the Storm run around without the help of the Omni Knight. I think that's pretty much the only reason you pick the Omni Knight in general is for the Storm. You can't have one without the other in this type of game.
I mean, pretty much, I think that's the ideal case in team fights, but for now in the ganking stage, I guess they don't need to be married together.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't the whole point just having like a repelled Storm with Ion Shell? I mean, imagine if he had like a repel there. He would have been able to just stay in the fight a little bit longer. Maybe he gets another kill. You know, you never know.
Fair enough. He will be repelling Ice on the bottom lane here as he pops a Metamorphosis and goes to work. This should be a fairly easy tower. I say that though. Ice repelled a little bit here by the Tinker stuff. If you're at home, I do have to apologize for the constant delay, but I guess we are having the bad connection to China for now.
It's an imperfect world right now.
Yeah,
but I think we've all kind of come to expect that after watching many games.
You know, that's actually been pretty good today up to this point.
Dude, I've actually lagged every single game.
All right,
and I've reconnected like 80 times. So I don't know if it's just me being unlucky or whatever the case, but for me it's been relatively unstable. But 50 minutes in, VG.R is still kind of holding the tide here. They've lost all their tier 1s though. It's a little bit concerning. Like the Tinker doesn't really want to play super aggressive because the Storm is just going straight for that Bloodstone. He jumps you. You know, you're not going to be able to laser if he actually has the repel on him, and then if you add Ion Shell damage into the mix, it's going to be even harder. I'm just, I guess, really wondering when VG.R hits their power spike, because normally there's a tangible stage in the game where you say, okay, this guy's got this item. All of a sudden, their team looks really strong, and maybe they can team fight, or you know, maybe they start split pushing or something. But I'm looking at VG.R and I'm kind of just like, they're waiting on the Sven to get farm and the Tinker. But the way that EHOME are playing, they can take away the map.
All right, so not exactly to answer your question, but maybe answering it with a different question. The way that EHOME defeated this kind of strategy where the pressure came early, and hold that thought. I see a smoke coming on, but I actually don't see anything that's happening. Somebody's going to fly through. They see Finra on the back line here. They collab him up. The X going to be on top. I do see a mech. Somehow he gets all his HP back, I guess, thanks to mech and purification, but he's under the Sunray, and looks like he is going to go down as a result. Sven, red and angry, dealing quite a bit of damage. Actually, the fight's not over yet here. Sven needs to really run. He doesn't have the BKB just yet. He turns around and fights, but he really can't fight this as Storm comes in and gets a zip off. The Sun, a little bit too late. Sven trading for a disruptor kill. Not exactly a fair trade, but that's a trade they got.
Yeah, getting this Sven is huge. And, I mean, he's going for the more traditional build this game. He changed it up from the last time. Instead of going for the SMY, just going for the Echo and the Armlet. I think it's a fair assessment of the situation. He knows that he needs to be able to deal a huge amount of damage very quickly. Otherwise, the Omni Knight Repel and the GA are going to be very tough to deal with, more or less. And this is an interesting choice from Lanham, honestly. Like, going for the Hood build. I know early pipe against Tinker is really good. But honestly, if I was in this position, I would just buy Midas. Like, you already have a lot of map control. You know you can take the team fights. You're not going to be going high ground super early against this lineup, I feel, because Old Chicken just scales so well. So does a Terrorblade, obviously. And having Vakul on the late game isn't necessarily bad either. I think that maybe he could be even greedier than he has been.
I think the Terrorblades, at least played in the Chinese teams, they actually do look for high ground, around 25 and 30 minutes in.
But this is such a hard high ground, like Elder Titan, Phoenix, and Tinker.
I agree, and I mean, on that essence, pipe does help, right? So
no, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it's more of an all-in choice than I would expect, given the way they're playing the game. Because of the idea that Ice and Old Chicken have such good scaling with an Omni Knight as well, and no natural defusal carrier, it's not like Lanham is going to be falling off that much.
That's fair. The one thing that perhaps they have a concern about is that the way that they defeated a Terrorblade just earlier in this best of 3 is that they actually outlasted and outlate game a Terrorblade, which sounds ridiculous, but basically once the Terrorblade BKB got down to 5 seconds, he becomes suddenly very vulnerable despite the fact that he has Sunder, Manta.
Oh, maybe not.
And
that was so close.
Oh, it's Sunray. He's out of mana, so...
I mean, I don't even know what's happening
Oh,
right
Mech's
now.
going to come out. Vacuum's going to help, but... Oh, he's going to try to TP out. That's sweet.
Yeah,
Not going to be good. He dead. Yeah.
So that was interesting. Again, it's EHOME playing a more map-efficient game, where they're not really grouping up. They're just letting everyone farm their respective lanes, and just they pressure by having heroes with good jump potential like Old Chicken. But again, it's Lanham not being there. Like, if Lanham's not there, you can't YOLO. You have to have the Omni Knight nearby. That's the whole point.
Oh,
Granted.
Ice.
Oh boy.
Gonna get a Sunder off. And the right click should actually be enough. In fact, he doesn't even need a meta for it. And they'll get the kill. But yeah, so I'm not sure whether you agree with this assessment, but maybe they feel like basically they have the early BKBs of Ice to close out the game. And once the BKB is becoming a 5-second charge for Ice, it then becomes vulnerable again, even having
He's
Repel.
got Repel.
No, I agree with you. Look, I've seen this lineup where Terrorblade plus Omni Knight just get wrecked once the BKBs are over. With that said, though, that game did have a Diffusal Blade carrier.
Yeah.
And this game does not. So I think that perhaps is the major difference.
I mean, the Sven kind of has to buy it, right? That's like the only person on the team who's ever going to get that money.
Can they ever play without the Diffusal Blade, or is that just impossible?
I think that you would get high grounded before you, like, you get any other item that's going to do nearly as much as a Diffusal. That's how I feel.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe, you know, VG.R have the capability of just delaying the fight long enough to where you can find an opening and get some kills, but I'm just saying it ain't easy.
Yep.
Because Sven is usually that hero who wants to go in, you want to throw out a disable and just get a kill. Like, that's the point of the Armlet Echo Saber build in a nutshell. It's just having enough burst damage to kill before a reaction. But I think he's going to have to go straight Blink if he wants to play that way. Having a BKB obviously is nice as well, but he's pretty much the only person on this team who can start the fight. No one else can.
I'm not sure if bursting down the enemy team is the way to win the fight. Simply because of Guardian Angel. With Guardian Angel in picture, are you better off trying to win a long drawn-out fight instead of using your Sven as a bursting tool, like how normally we see Sven being played?
That's a good question, actually. I feel like Sven is all about the burst. Like,
Right.
you want to go in, you want to get the quick kill, you want to just snowball the fight really hard based on how much front load damage you do. So I think that playing a kiting game is a little bit counterintuitive.
I mean, I think this goes back to Omni Knight being such a good counter pick, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that I like the most about EHOME's lineup. They are going in the jungle here with the smoke.
Well, I guess there's a fight happening here.
Yeah, I'm guessing that that Sven's going to be dead. That's my assumption.
Oh, he's red and angry.
Alright, they actually killed the Omni Knight, but they lose the Sven. I'm guessing that he didn't have time to cast GA, seeing how it's still off cooldown. Fenrir getting really low here as well. FY getting that kill, so it looks like it's a 2-for-1 right now, and the rest of EHOME are kind of funneling up here towards the high ground.
He's
Gonna
got
force
egg.
out the egg.
Okay.
But Ice is here, which means there's pretty much no way that's living. And they're going to lose DDC as well. So it will, in the end, be a 2-for-3. Obviously favoring EHOME. They only lost 2 supports. They get the Sven, and both supports of VG.R. The Elder Titan wasn't really able to contribute a whole heck of a lot, and interestingly enough, at level 10, Yang still does not have Earthsplitter's Guild, which I think is pretty confusing.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't feel like the team has enough lockdown to really
It's hard
guarantee.
to land. Yeah, it's hard to land, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, the other convenient thing here for Storm, got the Bloodstone right before that fight, so 3 charge right from the
15
get-go.
charges. Yeah, this is such a hard game for VG.R now, I think.
As difficult of a game it is for us, the viewers at home, it's about the same difficulty for VG.R. So.
I might say it's actually harder for VG.R.
Okay. Well, you know, it's for casters like us, it's all about relating you to the players. You can feel their pain.
Yep.
Well, it looks like you are right. He is gonna go with the burst route, but
Yeah, he actually needs Blink. Because here's the thing, right? Say you're VG.R and you're playing against a Storm with Repel, and you've lost all your outer 2 towers. At what point can you actually leave the base without some form of initiation? Like, you need to leave the base in large numbers, you need to smoke, you need to go for a kill like they're doing right now. Because if you don't get a kill, you're never going to establish your map control. And a Storm with full map control is like, you've already lost the game at that point. They need to go for an aggressive play.
I agree with you, but they are limited in the sense that they need to go for the Omni Knight first. Whoever you go on, otherwise, is going to get Omni.
Well, if the Sven actually gets the burst in before the heal comes out, I could see them getting a quick pick.
Okay, well, we'll see if it's going to work out. Ice going to just break all of the smoke. Ooh, trees are protecting him. I think they actually see him, and now N will not get off the jump here. Ice now going on in. BKB actually blocks the stun, and the man fight ensues. N's going to try to run away. Meanwhile, on the back line here, Lanham taking a ton of damage. He's away from his Terrorblade friend. He's going to try to keep himself alive. He has successfully done so. On the right side, you see DDC being jumped on. DDC going to work. He does get off a Hex here, no chicken, running away. And so far on the left side, also being kited, it is going to be the Sven going down, and so will the Elder Titan. It's a heck of a fight. We didn't see any of it, but it seems like EHOME has came out ahead with 2 clean kills. The BKB on point for Ice, and they will push off of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying is the initiation itself is the important part about VG.R's lineup. When the Sven gets Blink, the whole idea is you jump in and get a kill before EHOME react, but when Ice gets a Repel and just casually walks up high ground, you don't have a Diffusal Blade, you're all of a sudden just like, oh, we can't actually deal damage to this hero. And then we die. It's ugly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for VG.R, their ability of getting the map control back is completely reliant on that initiation. And if they don't get it, well, you just saw what happens. So, Roshan up. Not sure if EHOME feel like they need to go for it right this second. They still have a lot of time. They can farm out all the lanes. Orchid going to be done a little bit, or in a little bit on the Storm Spirit, and it's going to get even harder from then on out because the Tinker, at this point, he doesn't have the Yules for a self-save. If he gets caught out by Old Chicken, he's pretty much just dead. But
I'm not even sure if a Yules will be enough, actually.
No, I think it would be okay, because basically what happens... Oh, see a ball mid.
Yeah. Good jump back here by N. Yeah. Oh, no, he's going to get glimpsed back. No BKB at the ready yet.
It looks like they're not committing to this. They know that VG.R are pretty much there in force. Good call. Yeah, but I'm really feeling EHOME's draft this game, ever since the beginning.
I mean, they pretty much play as well as they could have. N's going to come ahead, blinks forward, blinks right into the Ancients. He's going to get chased. In fact, he's going to get glimpsed back into perhaps a Static Storm. Yeah, he's right on top of it. He's going to get healed, but I don't think it actually matters. N going to get focused by 5-man. Guardian Age's going to come out here. N's definitely dead. How many more are they going to get? Storm zips forward, looks for a little bit more. 11 joins him there as well, but I think the Sven kill is enough for an objective, whether it's going to be Roshan or high ground. Ice already in the Roshan pit, so...
Oh, FY dying too. This is really bad news. Neither of those heroes... Oh, actually, FY does have buyback, but yeah, they're just going to go in the Rosh pit straight away. Ice is already there. Oh man, this is actually such a hard game for VG.R. I think that teams are becoming a lot more aware of how they can punish an immobile lineup like VG.R's with just more greed. Because if you think about it, the Tinker doesn't really start getting mobile until he has bots and the Soul Ring done. We saw Mikasa not have an ideal laning phase. And then the supports of the Lion and the Phoenix, you know, FY was not really moving around the map with DDC at all. They were just sitting there trying to be greedy. You know, DDC wants his Blink, FY wants his Egg. But because of the fact that they weren't able to create any pressure on the map, Lanham got to AFK jungle and Omni Knight. Like...
Oh, let's be real. He could have AFK jungle anything.
Yes, but the Omni Knight was by far the best pick that he could have had.
it was. I mean, he is drafting. He is.
He is a legend.
Yeah.
For making it work this well. But now I think people are going to start to realize the way that you beat, you know, the Phoenix picks and all that is just to make sure that you play a greedier early game.
Oh no, N's gonna get picked outside the base again, or at least found. I'm not sure he's gonna die here, but ain't looking good. Storm zipping left, zipping right. The Storm Hammers already came out. He could arm the toggle some of it, but yeah.
He did.
He did not arm the toggle. We got BKB finished. We got Orchids finished. We got perhaps the pipe finish on the Omni Knight.
Very soon. Or no, he bought Blink.
Okay.
I like that choice actually. That's why I was kind of confused about the pipe, or the hood pickup, is because having that early of a pipe doesn't really... Like, they didn't go high ground with it. You know what I mean? It's just an item that he gets maybe to prevent himself from getting bursted by the Lion. Maybe that was the idea, because he knows he's never going to repel himself. So maybe he just wanted the on-use to make sure that he doesn't get blown up. And if he doesn't get blown up, they pretty much win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he is dealing with natural order, right? So having a little bit of base resistance after it being removed is quite good.
Well, VG.R, they got the high ground defense. That's definitely a thing. But they're going to have a hell of a time getting out on the map. And Mikasa is just getting chased down by BKB Darkseer, and I believe that he is just dead.
Okay, yeah, he's dead.
Dead. It's a hard life if you're a Tinker in this game. I mean, to me, this is such an outdraft by EHOME.
Was it the problem, the fifth pick? I mean, there's nothing you could do about that, but do you felt like VG.R already by that point has gotten themselves in a hole that they can't get out of? Like, perhaps the supports are just too static?
I think the Tinker pick is
the issue.
Kind of what put them in this
position. I mean, let's say you don't. Let's say you stick with the Tinker, but instead of a Lion Phoenix combo, you get, let's say, Lion plus a very aggressive roamer.
They could have picked Earth Spirit. Yeah, I think Earth Spirit would have been amazing for this game. Because
then it would have salvaged the problem of a, let's say, an Omni Knight jungling.
Yeah, because you could have just pressured mid.
Right.
You could have just rolled in and forced the Omni to stay mid, and then he gets nothing in the early game instead of being level 5 at like 6 minutes.
Well, whatever the case is with the draft, matter of hand is right now, Stormster is zipping against Phoenix. Phoenix is going to be dead. You'll Scepter defensively, was it? I'm not too sure. Oh, Chicken's going to jump out. Land him in a lot of trouble here. If you burst him down, that's actually a good way to start the fight. He didn't even Omni, but unfortunately, it's going to be FY dropping as well. The egg not going up, and I guess unable to armlet toggle. Seeing only half the fight, but Stormster is going up. He's in the tier 4s. He's going to get the kill. Oh, Chicken might die as a result, but he's got Aegis, so he doesn't even care. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. It's Ice taking Raxus.
All
well,
right. 30 minutes in.
Yeah, taking the first lane of Rax.
I mean, the Tinker doesn't even have his Aghanims yet. That's how far behind they are. And I'll be honest right there, Old Chicken definitely made a misplay by not just waiting for Lanham to blink him. Yeah, okay. And by blink, I mean repel. Because he had blink daggers, so he could have just waited and said, repel me, and then just go in after the fact. Makes Lanham not ever get out of position, and they end up just taking the fight pretty easily. But regardless, EHOME with a very convincing victory. Love their draft. No way for VG.R to really punish the greedy early game that EHOME were bringing to the table. I would much rather have seen an Earth Spirit instead of a Lion. Just some hero that can actually pressure somewhere around the map. But it's kind of like, you don't pick these lineups and EHOME and not want to pressure. And I feel like VG.R just weren't prepared. Yeah.
I think that game, basically, Lanham says, dude, I'm going to keep you honest. If you're going to get this greedy, I'm going to just punish you by out-greeding you. So I think looking at the draft in Game 2, we're going to see a little bit cleaner draft and hopefully a much cleaner game.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. That's Game 1 in the books. Game 2 is going to come your way relatively soon. EHOME up 1-0 after that sweet, sweet victory. Hopefully we don't get more lag. He is Andy. I'm Lumi, and we'll be back momentarily.